Hello and welcome to the Evening News for Thursday, May 8, 2014. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. In the headlines, U.S. lead project halted pending talks. Georgetown facing a legal and political conundrum as there are now 2 town clerks but 1 office. Kanu reissues wanted bulletin in connection with cocaine in a char probe, and 9-year-old electrocuted while bathing. Now for the news in detail. The governments of Guyana and the United States today announced that the implementation activities of the controversial U.S. lead project will be put on hold temporarily as the 2 sides begin re-engagement talks on the way forward for the project. More from Alexis Rodney.
The re-engagement began soon after the sides made a joint statement on the matter at the office of the president. They both hoped that a mutually beneficial outcome will be had in the long run. U.S. Ambassador D. Brent Hart maintained that the project still holds as its main concern the interest of the government and the people of Guyana. He said the United States government was pleased with the opportunity to re-engage in talks on the project and was positive that a resolution will be met since the issues to be raised had already been discussed.
We look forward to a constructive dialogue, which we will be beginning, as the statement noted, immediately. And we are hopeful at the end of the day we can find a way forward in the tradition of our long and beneficial bilateral relationship.
He said the U.S. government had already indicated its preparedness to make modifications to the project. Guyana's government had expressed dissatisfaction with the project's design and implementation strategy. The ambassador had, however, stated that the project was aimed at supporting stakeholders' effort to promote effective and responsive democratic institutions. He claimed also that the project was designed to strengthen political and consensus-building processes and skills through programmed components.
I think that's what we're here to do today. That's the path that was outlined by Dr. Luncheon in our correspondence over the past couple of weeks. And I'm looking forward to being able to get down and deal with these specifics so we can find out what concerns there are and take steps to resolve them and address them.
Cabinet Secretary Dr. Roger Luncheon, when asked about government's next step for the project, said that its resolution will be an integral part of the progress dealing with the engagement. He reiterated that both parties are looking forward to meeting a mutual consensus.
It will be the height of absurdity and flying in the face of sanity for any of us to say that this engagement with USAID and the government of Guyana, at least since 1992, has not been proceeding along those lines. There is no reason for us to believe, if we adhere to a mutually beneficial output, that this re-engagement would be successful. There's no reason to believe. But if you ask me about its specifics, what the government wants, what the U.S. administration wants, I again would be rehashing my previous statement. This is not the place. I don't have that type of information available.
Luncheon could not disclose when the re-engagement process will come to an end. However, the U.S. ambassador said he hopes things will be ironed out before his tenure comes to an end in July of this year. The announcement to put the program on hold comes months after clashes between the U.S. and Guyana governments. For the Evening News, I'm Alexis Rodney.
City Mayor Hamilton Green today installed Royston King as the city's new acting town clerk at an extraordinary meeting held in the municipality's compound, as he contended that the appointment does not need ministerial approval. Michael Young reports.
Royston King has again been selected to act as the city's town clerk until the determination of 2 matters which are engaging the attention of the courts. The council says that it has the power to so do, despite the fact that Carol Ryan Sober remains in office and is performing all of the administrative and fiduciary responsibilities of the council. Mayor Hamilton Green today congratulated King on his appointment and stated that the council would have fallen into error had it not acted following the ruling of the Chief Justice.
I wish you well. It will not be an easy task, and we have already started discussions with the union involved so that they will give guidance to their members, and all we seek is peace and cooperation. I ask you to raise your right hand as I say to you, go forth and perform your duties with dignity and courage.
Green insisted that the council had a contingency plan for ousting Sober, but appeared unwilling to state categorically what legal means would be used to either get occupation of her office or transfer her powers legitimately to King.
It is not prudent to tell the whole story, particularly when their ears and eyes designed to frustrate. But after this meeting, the minutes will be signed by the mayor, and those minutes will be sent to the appropriate agencies, authorities, so that they'll be instructed and or advised as to the extant situations.
King, addressing the group of councillors present at the extraordinary meeting, pledged his commitment to revamp and revitalize the council, which he said was in a sorry state.
We must review the structure and processes of this municipality. We must look at the most appropriate approach to re-engineer it, to revitalize its different departments, and embrace core values of care, respect, fairness, excellence, and service.
No senior officer was present at the function to install the new acting CEO. King's appointment to the post last year was squashed by the then local government minister, Ganga Prasad, who rejected his nomination. King is also the current public relations officer of the Georgetown City Council. The situation at the council is getting dire, and things are moving from bad to worse. For the Evening News, Michael Young reporting.
Michael Young joins us again, but this time he tells us that the acting town clerk, Carol Suba, will remain in office and perform her functions despite a move by the political administration of the Georgetown City Council to install Royston King to the post. Let's find out more in this report.
Acting town clerk Carol Suba, speaking to this newscast during an exclusive interview, said the meetings held both to nominate King and install him are illegal. Suba is refusing to exit the office as she maintains that she is the de facto town clerk constitutionally appointed to perform the duties. She reiterated that she will not demit office unless the court orders her to do so or those responsible in law for her appointment revokes it. The substantive acting town clerk expressed concern over the apparent desperation of the mayor and its councillors to gain control and influence over her administrative office.
What is happening? The stay of execution of the Chief Justice rule is scheduled for tomorrow at 11 o'clock at the Court of Appeal. And I am very concerned at the desperation, by all means, for them to be holding this meeting and they want to have Mr. King. Now, if something happens to be, or I'm unable to function as town clerk, Ms. Sharon Harry, my deputy acting, is the person who has to, by our job description, has to be the person. In this case, nothing happened to me. I'm at work, so I don't know what's the desperation, even though the people are bigger than the court.
Asked who is in control of the council's finances and administration at the moment, the town clerk offered this response.
There is only one town clerk acting at the time and no other town clerk than yours truly, Ms. Carol Ryan Suba.
Sober denies locking the council's chambers today while explaining that she did not get any notice to call an extraordinary meeting. Coincidentally, she explained that the chamber's warden did not turn up for duty. Meanwhile, there is a possibility that Royston King, who is a junior officer to Sober's rank, could be disciplined for dereliction of duty as well as other alleged malpractices and insubordination.
Yes.
As Town Clerk, he's the public relations officer. Has he
Yes.
indicated that he's vacated this post and is now taking up a post as
He
Town
has
Clerk?
not, and as a matter of fact, we've not been getting him to do anything. He has not been responding to any members of the town clerk. My deputy requested information from him because we're doing a budget review. He has not responded. He has not been attending any meeting. We do not know where he works more than we see him in these kinds of things and writing in the media.
Sober says Local Government Minister Norman Whitaker and the Permanent Secretary of the Local Government Ministry have already been advised accordingly. For the Evening News, Michael Young reporting.
The Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, KANU, on Wednesday issued another wanted bulletin for the arrest of Don Roberts in connection with the large quantity of cocaine found in a char at the Chadijagan International Airport, the CJIA, last February. A couple apprehended at the CJIA with the cocaine appeared before Chief Magistrate Priya Sinarayan Bihari on a charge of possession of narcotics for the purpose of trafficking. U.S. citizen Winston Blake, 77, and his Guyanese accomplice Sadiqa Nuella Odi, age 38, of Lot 186 Thomas Street, Kitty, Georgetown, pleaded not guilty to the charge. The 20 kilograms of cocaine was discovered when anomalies were spotted during the scanning of the couple's luggage. More news ahead. Stay tuned. This is the Evening News. This is the Evening News on TVG. Welcome back. The Parliamentary Special Select Committee responsible for the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism Amendment Bill of 2013 will not be meeting this week, Chairperson Gail Teixeira confirmed on Wednesday night. With just 16 days left before the staging of the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force meeting in Miami, the government and opposition are failing to meet at a critical time. Speaking with this newscast, Teixeira said it is likely that the committee will meet on Tuesday, May 13. The government's chief whip had proposed the committee meet on Friday, May 9, but the opposition objected, stating that some of its members sitting on the committee have other arrangements on the specified date. In addition to Friday, Saturday and Monday were proposed, but these days were also turned down. It is now tentative that the committee will meet on Tuesday. In this Bashar Mohammed report, we'll hear now that a pupil attached to the Good Fortune Primary School was electrocuted on Wednesday evening after he came into contact with a zinc fence while he was bathing at home.
Dead is 9-year-old Satyanand Balkaran, also called Nikhil, of Lot 17, Good Fortune, West Bank, Demerara. Reports are that around 19 hours 30, the child was having a bath next to a drum in his yard when he came into contact with live exposed Guyana Power and Light electrical wires that was leaning on a zinc fence. Upon being shocked, he was rushed to the West Demerara Regional Hospital, where he succumbed while receiving medical attention. At the house of the dead child, his grandfather, Lekram Balkaran, explained when he received the dreaded news.
Last night, myself and wife went to a week. Left the children with the mother home, right? The mother was preparing meals and stuff for them and tell them to go and bathe. So when they come and bathe, the incident happened. So when we went to the week, the mother came and told us about it. So when we come here last night, the child, they gone to the West Demerara Hospital. When we went there, when we went down there, when I went there, he almost dead on there on the bed. He had a shock. He had shock while bathing, and he collapsed right there. Yeah, but when he went down there, they were working on him, and they saw him that he died.
Residents have complained that since last year, the electrical cables have been hanging precariously in the area, and they made several reports to GPL, but nothing has been done.
This is why they're here quite a long time. Long time I spent here. I personally went, and anybody back went here. The people are giving you a number when you phone the number them, non-response. Or we can check it, and people never come back. But from the incident what happened, you see the whole army team. That went everything when the child don't die. People then come and they check all the wire, they said never come back again. Later on for rectify the fault again.
A few months ago, Balkaran was severely burnt and was hospitalized following an incident in the same house. He was in the process of recovering from the burn wounds when he met his demise. His body is at the Ezekiel Funeral Home awaiting a post-mortem examination. He leaves to mourn his parents and one sibling. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
Meanwhile, the post-mortem examinations of the 4 persons who allegedly drank a quantity of cocaine-laced SSS tonic have been scheduled for tomorrow. Simone Price, aged 36, of Lot 22 Cookrit Street, East Penitence, her husband Alex Blair, aged 42, her son Jahakel Blair, 7, and her best friend Natasha George, aged 36, consumed the substance on Sunday morning at East Penitence in Georgetown. Price's elder son, Jamal Waterman, aged 12, was in critical condition at the Georgetown Public Hospital, but according to his father, Wilbert Waterman, on Wednesday his son is out of danger. According to relatives of the victims, the autopsies were delayed due to the amount that had to be done on Wednesday by Dr. Nihal Singh at the Georgetown Public Hospital. However, crime chief Leslie James told this newscast that the police are still to arrest the person who took the tonic to the house, which was intended for the U.S. It was reported that a bottle of multivitamin tonic was given to the family by a relative to be sent overseas, but a niece who was supposed to take the tonic refused. A northeast Penitence man was in the wee hours of this morning gunned down while gambling at a house in Curtis Street, Allboystown in Georgetown. Bisham Mohammed reports.
30-year-old Orvin Champo Millington of WW7 Northeast Penitence, Georgetown, was killed with a single bullet to his head after he was attacked by his assailant at about 0045 hours last evening. At the time of the shooting, the now-dead businessman was among his friends when the lone gunman walked into the yard at Curtis Street, Allboystown, and reportedly questioned him whether he remembered him. In the same breath, the shooter pointed the gun to Millington's head and pulled the trigger, causing pandemonium to break out, which saw persons scampering for cover. The father of 4 was picked up and taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. At the scene, persons remained tight-lipped, while one man believed that the shooter missed the target, claiming that apparently the bullet was meant for one Chandrapal. Millington was at a birthday party at the said house when he was gunned down. There was also a wake in close proximity, but no one had a glimpse of the shooter, who came on foot. Relatives of the dead man are still distraught and are recovering from a similar occurrence about 4 years ago. Millington's brother Vibert Weeks was gunned down while he was in front of a Robb Street strip club. To date, no one was arrested or convicted for his murder, and as such, relatives believe that it will be a similar situation. The police have since launched an investigation into the shooting incident. No one was arrested. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
Despite challenges stemming from the new core banking application at the beginning of 2013 and the slow economy, the Guyana Bank for Trade and Industry, GBTI, managed to record a $2.178 billion profit after taxation. According to Chief Executive Officer John Tracy, in his annual report at the bank's 26th Annual General Meeting on April 30 at the bank's corporate office, the profit reflects a 20% increase when compared to 2012. The CEO noted that there was a 21.4% return on equity and a 2.28% return on average assets for the year 2013. Tracy noted that the total assets at the end of 2013 were some $95 billion, which reflected an increase of $10 billion or 12% from the previous year. This is the Evening News. Stay tuned. More news ahead. Welcome back. This is the Evening News. Local Government and Regional Development Minister Norman Whitaker, with much relief, finally got vendors at the Anna Regina roadside to agree to move from the shoulders of the roadway to the market. At a special meeting on Thursday in the boardroom of the Anna Regina Town Council, Whitaker told staff, councillors of the Interim Management Committee and vendors that roadside vending is illegal and should not be tolerated. The minister said in the first quarter of 2014, the government, through the Local Government and Regional Development Ministry, has decided to move all vendors along the roadside throughout Guyana and place them at stalls in the markets. He informed vendors that the practice of roadside vending is illegal and needs them to cooperate with the council in fixing the unethical practices. 32 main roads were commissioned yesterday, this time in the community of Unity on the east coast of Demerara, after being rehabilitated under the Community Road Improvement Project. More in this report.
Residents residing in the Unity neighborhood on the east coast of Demerara are benefiting from 12% increase in traffic flow following the rehabilitation of 15 kilometers or 32 roads under the Community Road Improvement Project CRIP. The $494,452,136 investment was on Wednesday officially commissioned at a simple ceremony at the Helena Primary School. The project included the cleaning, reshaping, upgrading, and realigning of existing 29 kilometers of roadside drains and the construction of new drains, rehabilitation of 4 bridges, and construction of 6 culverts. Housing Minister Irfan Ali explained that the works within the NDC, which were executed by contractor H. North and Son, were completed on time and within budget, allowing for the savings that provided for extending works to the community.
The roads that would have been completed, the more than 30 odd roads in this community, our elderly, the school children, all had to use these roads, would have all had various experiences, whether slipping, sliding, or stumping your toes on the road, whether having taxis refusing to pick you up because of the condition of the road, whether having the road flooded out after rainfall, whether having such a situation that the roads became an impediment to the sick, rather than an avenue through which the sick could have been transported quickly to the hospital. So in reflection, it is these community concerns that drove the government to implement a project of this nature.
Meanwhile, Local Government Minister Norman Whitaker said that the Local Government Ministry welcome all these aspects of the project since they are in line with the ministry's goal to get the NDC to reconnect with the people. He said that the ministry has always maintained that this is essential to sustaining projects.
If people are involved in projects from the inception, if people, and that involvement, I'm not limiting to just being aware of the project. You are aware what is to be done. You are aware of the benefits that will accrue. You are part of the planning. You are part of the implementation. You feel a sense of ownership of the project. You want to ensure that the project lasts, so that the cost of the project is spread over a longer period of time. My experience has been that when people are involved in projects, the projects are of a better quality. The projects last much longer because there's a sense of pride, a sense of ownership of the project.
For the Evening News, I'm Gabriella Patram.
Meanwhile, Housing and Water Minister Irfan Ali has pledged the government's continuous support for the community of Enmore as several new roads were recently commissioned. Let's find out more in this report.
15 roads in the rehabilitated Enmore Neighborhood Democratic Council building NDC, which were done under the Community Road Improvement Project CRIP, were commissioned yesterday by Minister of Housing and Water Irfan Ali. Ali pledged the government's commitment to further development in the East Coast community.
The CRIP project was not only about building and rehabilitation of roads. It also placed specific emphasis on improving the management capacity and capabilities of the NDC within this community. And one of the government's priority is to ensure a better level of service, is to ensure a more efficient level of service at a community level.
The CRIP program catered for the rehabilitation of the NDC building, training of staff, development of a maintenance manual, rehabilitation of 5.5 kilometers of road, the cleaning, reshaping and realigning of existing roads, drains and the construction of new drains in Nursery School Street, among other areas.
But there's a very important aspect in relation to the sustenance of the infrastructure, and that is the way in which the community utilize that infrastructure. You will see that in many areas where we would have completed new roads, persons dump sand on the road shoulder. They dump earth and stone on the road shoulder. Vehicles drive down the edges of the road and on the road shoulder, damaging the infrastructure. So the community still has a very vigilant and vibrant role in ensuring that this infrastructure that we have created here, bringing benefit to more than 6,900 residents directly, is sustained and maintained.
CRIP is a U.S. $18.7 million project which addresses the construction of numerous community roads amounting to 100 kilometers, some of which are funded by the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, and the remainder by the government. This project is aimed at improving the livelihoods of residents living in Regions 3, 4, and 6 in selected communities by improving access to housing, education, health, and other social infrastructure. For the Evening News, I'm Gabriela Patram.
Trade ministers of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, will hold discussions with the region's private sector on Saturday here during the 38th ministerial meeting of the Council for Trade and Economic Development, COTED. COTED opens on Friday and will focus its attention on a number of critical areas, including an assessment of the state of play of negotiations with Canada for a trade and development agreement and progress of the Transportation Commission and the Commission of the Economy, and a special session with the business community. The negotiations with Canada are at a critical juncture, and decisions taken by ministers will provide instructions to the region's negotiators as they enter the final phase of negotiations, which are scheduled to conclude next month. This is the Evening News. Stay tuned. More news tonight. Welcome back. This is the Evening News. A sales representative of Patson Trading was this morning killed after a car he was driving crashed into a utility pole at Diamond New Housing Scheme, East Bank, Demerara. The details from Bisham Mohammed.
The dead man has been identified as 70-year-old John Teixeira, also called Jerry, of Lot 762 16th Avenue, Diamond New Housing Scheme, East Bank, Demerara. He was killed after he reportedly lost control of his Toyota Sprinter motor car while heading home at about 6 hours 45 this morning. According to information received, the father of 4 lived alone and was out with friends on Wednesday and was returning home when he met his demise. Based on reports, there were no visible injuries about his body when he was rushed to the Diamond Diagnostic Center, but he subsequently succumbed. It is believed that the man might have suffered a heart attack. A post-mortem examination is scheduled to be performed on the man's body tomorrow. Nadira, a family friend of the dead man, told this newscast that she worked with the man for several years, and at about 7 hours this morning, she received the information about the accident. When she arrived at the hospital, she was greeted by the devastating news. Another woman explained that after they arrived at the hospital with the injured man in the car, the porters took some time to locate the stretcher. Eventually, Teixeira was wheeled into the accident and emergency unit, where again the doctors took a while to attend to him. The woman is holding out that with a competent staff, the man's life could have been saved. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
Attorney General Anil Nandalal has set out the criteria for the opposition to get more access to the state media, as he strongly condemned their attempts to stymie the work of journalists there. More from Gomati Gangadan.
The Minister of Legal Affairs, in his presentation in the Current Issues and Analysis show, stated that the opposition has been trying to portray an incorrect image of the state media and has not been telling the truth. He mentioned that they were invited on numerous occasions to appear on the state's channel, offers they have refused. He related also that every political party was given equal coverage during the 2014 national budget debates, a testimony to this fact. He also outlined that if the opposition wanted airtime on the state's channel, they would have to be constructive in their criticisms.
I don't know if they expect that the government will just give them an opportunity to go on national television, on the NCN, and just abuse the government. We want to have constructive debates, but they don't come on board.
The Attorney General condemned the combined opposition for cutting the provisions made for the state media from the 2014 national budget, relating that it was a hindrance to press freedom in Guyana.
Those are journalists who should not be sanctioned, should not suffer any disability, should not be discriminated against, simply because for whom they work. The same way that you cannot discriminate against a journalist for working in the private media, you cannot discriminate a journalist for working in the public media. When you cut the budgetary allocations that are intended to pay the wages and salaries of those journalists, then you are assaulting the welfare of those journalists. And that is an assault on press freedom.
Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Gomati Gangadin.
On the Evening News, we now take a look at your bridge reports. The Damrar Harbour Bridge will be closed on Friday, May 9 at 13 hours for a period of 1.5 hours, and the Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Friday, May 9 at 12 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. And for those of you using the ferries, the Perican Supernam ferries will be departing at 1 a.m. on Friday, May 9, 2014. Both ferries are also slated to depart their respective locations at 13 hours on Friday, May 9, 2014. Join us after the break for sports, sponsored by MacWarp. This is the News. Welcome back. Now for a look at sport, but first the headlines. Grenada to host opening Limacol CPL game. Nicolette Finance unmoved in latest world ranking. Hits and Jumps Entertainment throws support behind sport. And Rajasthan Royals beat Sunrisers Hyderabad in Pepsi IPL. Of course, your sportcast comes to the kind compliments of Macquarie.
This is the machine you asked for, and it's what we are delivering. Introducing the new CAT D2 series.
Improvements made with you in mind. A mechanically controlled engine designed to cope with Guyana's toughest conditions. Lower fuel consumption and less maintenance, which reduces your owning and operating costs. The highest productivity in the market. Robust design, which is built to last. MacCorp, the only authorized Caterpillar dealer in Guyana, bringing integrated solutions for your success. Let's build Guyana together.
Now for the details. We start off with some cricket news. Carnival Cricket FIFA will hit the beautiful island of Grenada with the announcement that the National Cricket Stadium will host the launch and opening round of games of the 2014 Limacol Caribbean Premier League from July 11, with all 6 teams in action over the first weekend. The Limacol CPL, which thrilled sellout crowds in 6 countries across the Caribbean in 2013, is once again looking to excite fans with high-intensity T20 cricket for the 2014 tournament. Grenada, known for its vibrant culture and hospitality, will serve as the opening venue to showcase the region's most exciting domestic T20 tournament. Global stars including Chris Gayle, Dwayne Bravo, Kevin Peterson and Mutaya Muritharan will take part in the biggest party in sport. The National Cricket Stadium, which has hosted several West Indies matches since 2002, as well as 6 matches at the 2007 World Cup, boasts fantastic playing facilities and will hold the biggest Limacol CPL crowd ever, with room for a massive 16,200 fans each day. With Carnival Cricket FIFA building for the first match of the tournament, no one will be disappointed by the opportunity to see last year's runners-up, the Guyana Amazon Warriors, taking on the Antigua Hawks Bills, with 2 of the world's finest spinners, Sunil Narain and Saeed Ajmal, going head-to-head. Bhubaneswar Kumar picked up 4 for 14 as Sunrisers Hyderabad defeated Rajasthan Royals by 32 runs in match 30 of the Pepsi IPL. In Surrey to take first strike, Sunrisers managed 134 for 9 with Shikhar Dhawan scoring 33 and Shane Watson and Rajat Bhatia picking up 3 wickets each. Kumar's performance then rocked Rajasthan's batting as they slipped to 1-2 all out in 19.5 overs. Here now are highlights from the game.
Out of here, Shane Watson. Steve Smith come in. Finney. Oh, just not quick enough. Warner is though, and celebrates with the crowd. Smith trying to get on with it. And Irfan took a good catch. Very good catch, running away from him. Steyn pumped again. Gets his man. Oh yes, crazy eyes. Faulkner tried to whistle out of the park, caught by Finch. Changes the pace from Bhubaneswar Kumar. Quite brilliant. Bhatia trying to whistle one out of the park, caught by the other Aussie this time, David Warner. Another Aussie going down. Slower ball, and BK running around, a catch off his own bowling. He told everyone to get out of the way. I'm taking this one. And the last one to go, Steyn takes a comfortable low catch. Good stuff from the Sunrisers to win by 32.
The Pepsi IPL will continue tomorrow with the Royal Challengers Bangalore playing Kings 11 Punjab from 10 hours 30 Guyana time. 2 schools and an athletics club today benefited from donations by Hits and Jams Entertainment under the Keems Foundation. More from Tristan Joseph.
Hits and Jams Entertainment under the Keem Foundation made donations to schools and clubs to aid in the development of sport. A donation of a table tennis board along with rackets and balls was made to both New Camberville Secondary School and St. Joseph's High School. $200,000 was given to the Mercury Fasteners Track Club, while the Beacons Football Club was given $90,000. Director of Hits and Jams Entertainment, Rolf Ferguson, related the motivation behind the donations.
Being a young person, we've always had distractions and, so to speak. What I want people to understand, and especially this new generation, these are the presidents, the prime ministers, and the ministers of our country, and the doctors, the lawyers, and so forth, to believe in your dream and stay focused. Nothing wrong with working hard and play hard. But there's a time for everything. Hits and Jams has promised every 6 months that we're going to give back to society.
Coach of the Mercury Fasteners Club, Christopher Gasking, who is also the physical education teacher of the New Camberville Secondary School, noted how beneficial the donations are.
I feel real proud about it, and it will go a long way in terms of developing the track athletes and also my school also with the table tennis.
Physical education teacher Nima Flubes of St. Joseph High was also grateful for the donation.
Next year for the CXC class, one of our options is a physical education table tennis program. As such, having a second table and a new table will surely add to our students having distinctions in grade 1s. So we really want to thank you for this, and I am quite elated.
Meanwhile, Hits and Jams will be looking to make such more contributions to other organizations every 6 months.
Finally, some squash news. Guyana's marquee squash player Nicolette Fernandes has remained unmoved in the latest world rankings issued by the World International Squash Players Association. In the May 2014 release, the 30-year-old Fernandes is ranked 19, maintaining the same ranking she received at the start of April. More on this report. The phenomenal athlete, seen here in green, will look to further improve on her career best ranking when she competes in the British Open, set to be held from May 11 to 18 at the Sports Arena in Hull, England. A victory in the opening round would certainly boost Fernandes' chance of moving further up the rankings, as she is pitted against the world number 9, Madeleine Perry of Ireland. Perry, 37, recently created history by becoming the oldest player to be ranked in the top 10. Fernandes' rise up the rankings is a remarkable turnaround, as only at the start of 2009 she was rated a lowly 249 after a recurring knee injury had kept her out of competition for a protracted period of time. Since returning from injury, however, Guyana's most decorated squash player has been on the rise, significantly moving up the ranking with each passing competition. Such was her outstanding performance that at the end of 2009, Fernandes, who is based in England and is under the expert guidance of the award-winning coach Carl Ince, had taken her ranking below 100, ending the year at 88. Ever since then, it has been a steady climb up the ladder for the multiple National Sportswoman of the Year, consistently racking up points and making her way up the Whisper leaderboard. In 2013, Finance played in 13 WSA World Touring Series in 7 countries, namely the United States of America, Malaysia, Ireland, England, China, Monaco and Hong Kong. So far, in 2014, she has been involved in 4 competitions. In August last year, Finance returned home to claim her 5th Caribbean senior title, taking less than 30 minutes to dispose of rival Karen Meekins of Barbados 11-6, 11-2, 11-5 in the final of the Caribbean Area Squash Association Senior Championships at the Georgetown Club on Camp Street. And with that, you've come to the end of Sport, which is sponsored by Marcorp. Before you can find these and many more stories in tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times. And here's an invitation to join us on TVG Channel 28 and on Radio Guyana Inc. 89.3 in Essequibo, 89.5 in Georgetown Environs, and 89.7 in Berbice and Unicary, Suriname. And with that, we've come to the end of the evening news for today, Thursday, May 8, 2014. I'm Avinash Ramzan. On behalf of all of us here, it's bye for now.